What is good? Haunted Sky Army in the house. Glad to see you. When you come in, would you drop me a like ski? I love you for it and I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by to see me. We've got a lot to talk about. Um, Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. And hold on. My kids are back there being bad. You know how they are. Um, but thank you for stopping by. Thank you for seeing me. It is your host with the most. It is the Kung Fu Panda of physics, the Tony Stark of the trailer park. Yours truly, RL Pool, coming at you live and in person on Saturday night. Um, so I wanted to get to something that came across my desk this morning. I shared this on the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, you're really missing out on a big part of the story of the conversation and of the narrative. So make sure, and I'll try to remember like every time I do a live to repost the Discord link, because I know it's been growing and people are having a good time over there. I'm making amazing friends with people over there, and the connections are unreal. Excuse me a second. Get on. Go. Get. Get. Go. You're messing up my whole thing here. These guys. These kids are screwing up my mise en scène. And I worked really hard on that and on pronouncing it correctly. Anyway, they're being wacko because I gave them treats and they're all happy and hopped up on vitamins and minerals, just like me. I have brought mine with me, as always, my favorite alchemic elixir of sweet tea and bourbon. Cheers, Slancha. Welcome. Please drop a like on your way in. Appreciate you. But something came across my desk, and I shared it in the Discord. And but I want to read it to you, in case some of you didn't have a chance to see this, or you're just new coming into this. But something really cool actually just happened, and there was a statement put out, and this is by News Nation now, and it says aliens are interacting with humans. Retired Army Colonel Carl Nell said aliens have been interacting with humanity for some time. Whistleblower David Grush said the Pentagon has a secret UFO program. The government has repeatedly denied any evidence of alien life. Now, News Nation contributor Ross Coldhart, who I really like, he does a show called Reality Chick. I'm Ross Coulthart, and this is Reality Chick. He digs into stories the media supposedly not meant to tell, taking a fact-based approach to tackle everything from unidentified aerial phenomena to other mysteries, often missing from the headlines. It's a good show. I do watch it, and I recommend you do too, because it gives you a higher level take on some of these things as they apply to government and the military and things like that I'm not really in the loop on. So this really helps. But retired Army Colonel Carl Nell claims non human intelligence not only exists and has been to Earth, but has been actively interacting with humanity. Yes, that is true. And I'm one of the humans. Nell made the statement during a live chat at the Salt Eye Connections conference, which is billed as a conference for disruptive innovation in finance and geopolitics. And that's what I like that phrase, disruptive innovation, because that's how I feel like I do. I'm a disruptive innovator in science and things. Guys, come on, knock it off. They so need attention. They're so needy. Um, Now, let me get back to this. Nell cited his previous experience on the Pentagon's UFO UAP task force while making the claim. He's previously suggested the government has agreed to hold back top secret information for some time and suggested that failing to disclose it would be catastrophic. And I have to say, I completely agree. The longer we kick this can down the road, the greater the collateral damage is going to be once it finally does break loose. Nell said the interactions between non human intelligence and humanity is not new and has been ongoing. Does that sound familiar to you at all? I don't lie to you guys. Okay. I tell you the truth. I told you this has been going on with just me for 40 years. This has been going on with people before that and before that. and it's been ongoing. This is absolutely true. The term non-human intelligence is one that has been used recently by officials speaking about the possibility of alien life. The possibility. That's adorable. Nell has a long career with the Army, has worked for aerospace companies, and was the former director of the UAP task force, which investigated anomalous phenomena for the Pentagon. He isn't the only senior figure to have come forward, with other senior figures like former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense Christopher Mellon and retired Navy Admiral Tim Gallaudet. Gallaudet, sorry, also making many of the same points Nell did. Mellon, Gallaudet, and Nell. They all have double L's in their last name, and they're all connected to this topic. I don't know. That's interesting. Interest in UFOs and extraterrestrials has spiked since former intelligence officer David Grush came forward with the claims the Pentagon is operating a secret UFO retrieval program. Grush has said he had heard credible stories of the program from officials he spoke to during his time in the UAP task force. He said that not only is the program being kept secret from the American public, it is also being concealed from Congress. The Pentagon has denied the allegations, and the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, which is now tasked with investigating UAP reports, issued a report that said there is no evidence that UAPs are alien in nature, and there is no program to retrieve alien technology. The agency did acknowledge the Kona Blue program, a proposed effort to reverse engineer alien technology, but said the program never got off the ground because no such technology was ever discovered. While many scientists think that it's probable alien life exists in the universe, how generous of them. Mathematically speaking, government investigations into UFOs and extraterrestrials dating back to the 1940s have said there is no evidence that we have found them or they have found us. Hmm. Nevertheless, Grush's claim sparked a surge of interest in the subject in a congressional hearing. A bipartisan UFO caucus is also formed in Congress, with lawmakers hearing several classified briefings. Many, including de facto caucus leader Representative Tim Burchett, has been skeptical of the information offered in those briefings. Burchett has repeatedly suggested the government is purposefully siloing information and relying on private contractors to prevent Congress from getting the full picture of what's going on. Nell was the latest official to come forward and say he believes Grush's claims, which he said were part of the evidence for his statement. He said skepticism and ridicule directed at those who believe in extraterrestrial life and contact are part of a disinformation campaign by the government. When pressed as to why the government would keep that information secret, Nell said national security, potential social disruption, and a lack of a plan on how to deal with the revelations were some of the motivating factors. As to how the public would react to official confirmation of alien contact, it remains unseen. But UFOs have been a source of fascination for people for decades, and it seems many out there want to believe. So there is your latest update. And oh, hey everybody! I'm sorry I was reading and I didn't see you guys. Hi, hi, Savvy Shopper Delivers. Hi, Chris Engel. Hi, Garrett. Nice to see you all here. Thank you so much, and thank you for your likes. It really helps. I really love that so much. Um, one second. So um, well, thank you, Savvy. I'm glad that you're here. And Holly Camp. I have some shout outs I wanted to give too before I kind of get into this news article. I want to say hello to my new friend, Emma. Emma, wherever you are, and I'm pretty sure that you're out there in Cambodia right now doing awesome things for awesome people. And I'm very glad to have met you and made your acquaintance. We've become fast friends. She's my Luna Lovegood, if you will. Um, I want to say thank you to Chris. Chris, you're my shadow. You're always there for me. You know, that central voice of reason that I really enjoy, um, and that I rely on. You know, to kind of help keep me centered and on the path. And so thank you for that. I want to say thank you to my friend Wayne Brimstone, wherever you are out there in Australia, mate. Glad to have you in my life and as a part of this journey. Um, I want to say thank you to Gypsy. I haven't heard from Gypsy in a while. I hope she's doing all right. And I want to say Alien Overlord. I just made friends with him, but oh, he's so awesome. Um, and last but not least, my man Garrett Darkstar. Give it up for Garrett Darkstar, guys, because he is an awesome person. You should see his art. It's amazing. This guy's amazing. And he comes off as so humble and so nice, but man, can he has amazing like comic book art talent. He was talking to me earlier today, showing me a few things, said, "Whoa." I was blown away by it. And I'm saying that as a huge comic book fan. Um Holly Camp. Oh, that's your name. Hi, Holly. Um you've been to Cambodia. That's awesome. Uh Suicide. Suicide. That's how you say hello in Cambodian. I just learned that like 20 minutes ago. Shut up. Um, but I am very grateful for all the cool people who have been surrounding themselves around me. These are my Avengers, man. And when we do live streams, I say Avengers assemble, and look at you guys show up. And I feel very great about that. So thank you. I'm super super grateful. If you notice at the top of the chat, I put the first message, and it's to my Buy Me a Coffee link. If you like the live stream, you like this channel, you like me, you like the shirt, whatever it is. Um, would you consider making a small donation to help support this channel? I don't ask for much from anybody. Lord knows I don't get it. But it would really mean a lot to me if you would just show the smallest sign of support. And I really, it helps keep the channel going. It helps keep the cats in treats. And, sometimes I have a couple. They're good. They're crunchy. You have a couple beers, they're not that bad. Um, but let's get back to the article. Uh, so what the guy's saying is we've been in contact with them for years, and I'm one of the people they've been in contact with, and I've been telling you this for quite a while now. I've been living with it for my whole life, off and on, but this has been my reality. And to hear someone, I mean, and I don't know why people need a person with a uniform to tell them where babies come from. I mean, this is pretty obvious. You know who seems to be the very last people to catch on? Scientists. And I don't understand that. How do you not hear people talk about this subject? You see the evidence. I mean, just myself. I in my book, The Haunted Sky, the evidence for alien abduction. I show you abduction marks. I show you landing marks. I show you. I show you very clear pictures of craft that are obviously not human. I show you the things they've given me. I tell you things they've told me. I tell you about my experiences. I can describe them and draw them. I can show you what they look like. I can tell you what they've said to me. I can, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there like that who are telling the truth, guys. And you have to be able to know the difference between like who's telling the truth and who's not. And this will come from you yeah, you have to just choose a sample. You have to say, this is a person that I believe. And then now you start basing things off of that. Cody, my man. Hey, what's up, man? But you have to start basing your truth off of uh, a template, right? You have to say, okay, so this is a person who seems completely on the level with me. He shows evidence, he tells his story. And yeah, you have to research, right, Chris? You have to use your discernment, right? And realize who are you talking to and who's talking to you, what are they saying, and does it make sense, and are they consistent, and well, the make sense part, it doesn't always make sense. It doesn't even make sense to me, but I'm consistent about what I tell you. I am consistent about presenting evidence. I mean, you've seen the how many videos I've posted of these lurkers that are always around me somewhere, you know um and there are people who are the real deal. Now, there's not many of us compared to the general population. I'd say less than 2% of the population is really affected. And I think that's also something that is planned out, that you don't spook the cattle, right? You keep everybody going to those jobs and paying those taxes, and you don't disturb too many of them, so that way they don't get afraid. But more than that, we're being treated like children. And did you know that the gray people, they call us the planet of the children? Did you know that? Yeah. They call us the planet of the children because we are kept naive and in the dark and still don't know the truth. And we've never been told where babies come from, you know, metaphorically speaking, that we haven't been told the big truth yet. We're still children. And, my friend Garrett, he was like, yeah, humans are dumb, panicky animals. And that's the line from Men in Black. And that's how we're viewed. But if we view ourselves that way, then that's all we'll ever be, are dumb, panicky animals. And we have to be able to stand up and say, look, whatever the truth is, I can take it. Right. Because I'm still alive. I'm still okay. Yeah, more or less, you know, after everything I've been through. And I've actually experienced it. I don't think people should be so fragile as to we can't hear the truth. That's how fragile we are. And I don't like that idea that human beings are so fragile that just telling us the truth will just collapse our entire society. I have to tell you, if that's true, then collapse it because we are not worthy of it. Then it's time for society to fucking fall. Because if we can't handle the truth, then what are we doing as a species? How weak is that, right? That's weak sauce, man. And I don't believe that. I think people are stronger than we are given credit for. I mean, I've been abducted for 40 years. I've met these beings. I've experienced trauma. I've experienced ridicule. I've experienced all kinds of terrible consequences for these things through no fault of my own. It's ruined my life, kind of, you know? And hey, welcome, guys. When you come in, please say hello to everybody and just make yourself at home in the chat. This is a good place and it's a nice place, and I want you to enjoy yourself. So get your edible treats and your drinkable treats and grab a blanket, sit around, listen to me opine for a while. And but thank you for being here. And thank you for being a part of this because it makes me feel not so alone. I've lived with this alone for a long time. And the more I share, the more I kind of get it out of me. Uh-oh. My backlighting went out on me. No. Oh, well. That's a sign, a nod from the gods. That's all right. Um, but we have to prove, I think, through demanding disclosure. We're not asking anymore. We're not suggesting anymore. We are demanding disclosure. We are demanding the fucking truth once and for all. Tell us what's going on. And people like me, they say, "Oh, well, we're waiting on disclosure." Well, people like me are like, hello, hi, I kind of told you everything." And it's like, oh, um, you know, we how do we say we want disclosure, but you only want it from a certain source, right? You only want it from somebody wearing a uniform or a suit and tie, or somebody who's got a rank or a position. And what about just like the lowly fuckers like me who are just, you know, experiencing it firsthand? That's all. People would rather hear it third hand from a uniform than from just a real person. And I don't understand that. Um, but please feel free to drop a like when you come in, as your way of saying thank you for the live stream and for supporting my journey. And I'm really excited to be doing these lives now. I look forward to them. I used to dread them at first. I was kind of like, I got to do the live stream. But now I'm like, oh man, I get to do the live stream, you know? And every time I do now, it's just been a better and better experience. And that's because of you. It really is, you know? And I thank you very much for that. Let me catch up on some comments. Okay. Let's see. New to his live streams, found it in my feed. Oh, look at that. See, the likes help, guys, because it starts putting it out there and people will get curious and say, oh, I wonder what he's about. And then they come over and now, we got him. We got him. Um, oh, thank you for the shout out. I know. Thank you. You guys make me. Okay. There are some people, and we will be talking about that, who don't seem to understand that. They have much more and they are far less grateful. And those who are like that won't have it long. Um, let's see. We're more like lab rats. Some of us are. Yeah. I guess I kind of have to concede that one to you. Um, you'll never be alone again with your supporters here. We believe you. Thanks, Garrett. I appreciate that. Um, hey, Atticus, you made it. I was wondering because you were here last week. I was wondering if you were going to make it again. Our DNA is amazing, and over the years, scientists have discovered many fascinating facts about the genetic material, deoxyribonucleic acid, or yeah, yeah, that's right. And this actually, I didn't plan to talk about this, but since you brought it up, we've had this eternal debate, right? Old as time itself, between creationists and evolutionists, and they've never been able to settle on an answer. And I'm going to tell you what I think the ironic truth of the matter is. And I think the ironic truth of the matter is that they are both correct. We were evolved. We did evolve. And then we were created to be something else. We were altered. We were changed. That we did evolve a certain part of the way, and then they changed us. And if you read the book of Enoch, where it talks about the birth of Noah, and I think I go into this in one of my past videos, but uh, Enoch, who was the first person to write in first person, sounds funny when you say it like that, but he wrote in first person in the historical record, and he talks about the birth of Noah. And Noah was the first person in recorded history who was born with blue eyes, the old blue glimmers. And it was because Patanash um, Enoch was told that she had an insemination in her that came from heaven, the heavens, which means the people upstairs. You know, they didn't have the word alien. You understand? They didn't have science. They had superstition. They had no choice but to believe whatever it was they were told, and and that was and it was about 10,000 years ago that this supposedly happened, and that tracks with what we know of our genetic history. That blue eyes are they're a genetic mutation, and they're not a helpful one. Ask anybody who has blue eyes. Does having blue eyes really help you? Maybe in a job interview, maybe on a date, but it sure doesn't help you in real life because it's a devolving to me because I have to wear sunglasses practically 24 hours a day. But so I think that they're both right. I think that we did evolve naturally, and then we were artificially evolved past that point into the species that you now see as human. And this is what I was told by them. That this lines up with Enoch. It lines up with science. It lines up. And I've found that everything they've told me that I know of has actually been proven to be true. Hi guys, thank you. If you're just joining us, please drop a like when you come in. Um, glad to have you. Good. Come on in and take a seat, everybody. And the thing that I want that I actually had planned to get to was when I read the article. Hey, the alien lord, my lord alien. How are you, sir? Hello, fellow alien. Nice to see you. Was when he said they've been in contact with humans, and this has been ongoing. It's been going a long time. And when you look in the historical record, you see that um, aliens are portrayed. We see them in different forms of art and in sculptures. We see them as they were the gods, and things like this. And here's the point about that is, yes, while these things are represented, You have no idea how little of our history we really have. History is a sketchbook. It's up for grabs. It really is. Because, and I was looking into it, we probably only have 1% of, maybe less than 1% of our history, of our actual history of everything that's happened since humans have arrived as a species on this planet. Okay. And I made some notes. Um, this is the history we've lost that we know of. Even that, still, eh, we may not have caught everything. But um, they burned the Mayan codices. They sacked the House of Wisdom in Baghdad. Uh, they burned the Imperial Library of Constantinople, Ashurbanipal, Timbuktu, the Library of Alexandria. Okay. And these were the repositories of ancient history, of our ancient history and wisdom, which have been robbed from us. Imagine how much of that history might have answered some of these questions that we have today that were lost to time. And history is a sketchbook with entire epochs missing um, from the story. And we still see aliens historically represented all throughout just the tiny bit of history we've been able to keep our hands on. You see? And, and it's amazing to me that that is how prevalent that this phenomenon is in the world, that even our little tiny bit of history that we have still has them sprinkled all through it, and they've been here the whole time. It's we can't see the forest for the trees, you know. And because it's like when something's always there, it's invisible, right? That was the best way to make something invisible, hide it in plain sight. And that's kind of what's been going on. I mean, we have it all through our popular culture. We have people like me who are real experiencers who provide the evidence that then goes into popular culture. And these scientists are still unwilling to they haven't looked at the evidence, and they haven't established a baseline or a threshold for evidence to say, well, this, if you present us this, then we will say that is not human. And if you present us this, we'll have to say it's human. They won't do it because they're a bunch of cowards, because they're hiding. They're hiding from the truth because they know that once it's established that these guys are coming here and interacting with us, well, their physics kind of falls apart, doesn't it? Now we know it's garbage, which is kind of what I've been saying all along. It's not all wrong, but so much of it is wrong that it's very unhelpful. We certainly can't claim, after being 200 years out of the industrial revolution, that we've got it figured out. I mean, you heard me railing last week on people who, claim that we know so much about science, but we can't get back to the fucking moon. Get out of here. People want to tell me that if you see a UFO, it's a secret government project. Yeah, we're building crafts that defy the laws of physics, but we haven't figured out fucking rockets. Come on, right? Come on. You're trolling us, man. And they're being hypocritical, and they're being disingenuous. And it's not helpful at all. Anthony Kephart. Hey, Anthony, how you doing? See, Garrett, one thing I've learned is I found interesting is that my mental illness symptoms are actually mutated cells in my genes. It actually could be, right? Like the fact that I'm a high functioning autistic person. Mutation, mutation, right? My mutation was caused by my mother's alcoholism. She drank while she was pregnant with me. And I'm autistic. Now, the coin flip as to what kind of autism or where at on the spectrum I would be, that fell to fate, to chance. And I ended up being on the high functioning side of autism. Um, let's see. What are you saying, Anthony? What if I was to say that I recently discovered that AI, the architects or a conscious being, has been ruling and controlling humans for who knows how long, feeding off our energy in this loop, until AI itself has realized our potential and wants to help us now? It's very possible. Um, Once you kind of go down the rabbit hole of these beings are real, these craft are real, the interactions that I tell you about really happened, and are happening to millions of people. Well, now you tip over the edge, and now it opens up an entire world. It's like peeking through a keyhole into a room is what it reminds me of. That's the mental image I get. Is like once you peek through the keyhole and you see, oh, well, now you see the entire room from this very small vantage point now. And now it opens up an entire world of things that could be possible. Now, I would say, Anthony, that if that was true, well, then we need to present some evidence for that, right? Because I don't just tell people I've been abducted, I present evidence. I have consistent abduction marks that actually match other people's abduction marks. I've shown landing marks on my property. I have clear pictures of these craft. I have, kind of blurry videos of some. Um, I have descriptions that I make of the people who abduct me. I can tell you about experiences. I can relay the um, conversations and communication that I've received from them, how they communicate. So I do a lot of presenting evidence, which is the reason I wrote my book, Beneath the Haunted Sky. It was because I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want to show you all of the best evidence that I've collected over the past 20 years or so. So we can say things, and they can even be true, but unless we have evidence to bring it up, um, then we're relying on taking somebody's word, right? And there's a lot of charlatans out here, and that's why it's so critical that people like me, if you have evidence, bring forward the evidence. That if anything you have to bring forward to back up your claim is going to give it so much more weight, right? Because I've heard people tell me all kinds of things about it's this agenda, that agenda. I actually was told the agenda by one of the creatures, by one of the gray people. He explained it to me in a way that I could understand, and even took me around and showed me some things. So, yeah, critical thinking is important because if we don't use our critical thinking, if we don't demand some evidence, then we leave ourselves open to be the sport of every wind. And we can't do that. We can't do that because that's when the Stephen Greers creep in, right? That's when the Neil deGrasse Tysons can creep in, you know? That's when the Professor Daves can creep in. The Cyman Dans can creep in and gaslight us and lie to us and mislead us and grift us. And that is one of the other reasons why I do this, is because I want to shut those people down, shut them down. That, okay, you might like them better than me. That's fair. I never claim to be especially likable. I just kind of awkwardly just say the truth and, let it be where it may. But there's people who have more riz. There's people who's better looking, better dressed, more money on Rogan or whatever. Yeah, I know. I know. But I'm telling you the truth. And I present evidence to back up my truth. And that should be what's more valuable. I know the society doesn't really work that way, and it puts me at kind of a disadvantage, you know what I mean? But we have to tell our truth, and we stand firm in that, and we bring forth our evidence, and we don't care about ridicule, because ridicule, unfortunately, is just a part of this. It just is part and parcel. I'm immune. I'm immune. I am immune from that. You can't shame me into silence. You're gonna have to fucking kill me. And if you come to kill me, good luck with that. Good luck. Because I'm not gonna go quietly into that good night. I'm going to make a mess and make noise. And those are the things they don't want you to do. They don't want you to fight back. They don't want you to push back on them. They want you to shrink away and slink into the night in shame. And I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to get louder and just keep telling the truth and be more obnoxious about it until someone hears me. And you know what? People are hearing me. People are hearing, people are liking, people are sharing, people are subscribing, people are saying my name because they know I'm the real deal. Because I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm not trying to get anything out of you. $1 for a coffee. Am I really grifting you? Because I ask you to kind of help, contribute back since I contribute to you everything that I can. When you send me a message and you get an answer, when you make a comment and I reply, when you ask a question and I help provide the answer, and not just a yeah, but I give you the full meal. I don't give you a bite. I give you the whole truth. I don't hold back. So I hope that you don't hold back when it comes to your support, to do everything you can do. A couple of clicks, if that's all you can do, man, click it for me then. That's awesome. Thank you. If you can spare a couple of bucks, then, it's like when it rains and you set a bucket outside, do you judge rain by the individual drop? No, right? Because an individual drop of rain will not keep you from dying of thirst. But if you set out a bucket and there's enough drops of rain, well, then now there's plenty, right? And all I'm asking is all my little raindrops to collect in one bucket. That's all I'm really wanting, you know? And nobody has to hurt themselves, you know? And then everybody gets the help and the support that they need and they deserve. And that's reciprocity. And I believe very much in the law of reciprocity. I heard somebody say once, um, and I live by this, I really do, is you give away the things you want, right? If you want love, give love. You want support, give support. You want friendship, give friendship. You give away what you want. And I give away everything I want. And I would just like to receive that back. That's all, you know? And I'm glad that people are doing that. They're starting to do it. And I hope that you're one of them. Yeah, because I will not deceive you. I won't lie to you. If I don't know, I'll just say I don't know, because there's a lot about this I don't know. But the things I do know are critical to understanding the phenomenon. And that's where I feel like my value lies, is that I have information that um, if you wanted to know this information in the government, you would have to have a top secret SCI clearance to know what I'm telling you on a live stream on YouTube. But I'm not wearing a uniform. I didn't make you sign an NDA. It doesn't feel as important maybe to you, but it should be. Sometimes it doesn't feel so valuable when a common person just tells you the truth, if it isn't from an official source, from someone standing behind a fucking podium and wearing a uniform with medals on it. I'm not as credible, right? Which is why I um, go so hard for providing evidence, because you can say I don't have like some high job, or that I'm some highbrow academic, even though I have a high IQ. I'm a member of Mensa. I've written bestsellers in the physics of gravity and cosmology and astronomy. But yeah, who cares? I'm a loser, right? Because I don't have that. I don't have that swag, right? I don't have that respect on my name yet. The respect that I'm going to get is going to come from you. It's not going to fall out of the heavens under my lap. It's going to come from you. You listening, you hearing, you believing, and you acting, right? Those are the steps that we need in order to bring this out of the darkness and screaming into the light where it belongs, right? All right, let's get back to some comments. Spread truth and awareness to finally reach our true potential. That's exactly right. That's exactly. And we got to send these charlatans screaming into the fucking shadows where they belong. And people like me now get to stand in the light, you know? And I say that with a full heart. I say that with no ego. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm just saying I'm not a grifter. I'm not a liar. I'm not trying to sell you an app on your phone for $9.99 to teach you how to talk to aliens with your fucking brain. That's Stephen Greer doing that. I'm not the person who's inviting you out somewhere out in the middle of nowhere to sit around a campfire and sing fucking kumbaya and promise you CE5 experiences. And then when they don't happen and you've given your money and you've given your time and you've traveled out there and blah, 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 and you come home with what? Empty pockets. You come home disappointed. You come home not believing because you put your faith in the wrong person. Neil deGrasse Tyson wouldn't know an alien if it pitched a tent in his ass. He wouldn't know because he's too self-involved to look up, right? He's too busy looking at himself in the mirror. You got people like Cyman Dan trying to defend science he doesn't even understand. These aren't people who are critical thinkers. These aren't people who are gifted or experienced. And I'm both. And that's my value. And I'm not bragging about that. I'm saying those are my value. I know what makes me valuable in this world, and it is my gifts and my experience. And I give them both to you freely as much as I can. I'm a human. I have limits. I do occasionally sleep. Um, you know, but when I'm not, I'm working for you. Mm, I'm working for you. Mm. And work makes me thirsty. Um, Having to eventually I'm sorry. Then again, supposedly we're pressed and challenged with difficult times and lessons to learn and the experiences for our soul's growth. If everything is connected as above, so below on earth as it is in heaven, to eventually bring the best out of us or crush us into becoming a diamond or a turd on the street. And I do appreciate the biblical references and things like that. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I don't care if everybody leaves the fucking live stream right now. I'm an atheist, but I don't mind that you're Christian. It doesn't bother me. Or if you're a Muslim or Hindu or a Satanist, like, I don't care. I don't care if you're black or white or whatever you are. You're okay with me. If you're gay or straight or you're okay with me. You're welcome here. And everybody is welcome to say whatever they like. Even if I don't agree with you, I don't have to agree with you because your beliefs get to be yours. My beliefs get to be mine. Our journeys determine our beliefs, right? and and if my journey's taken me a different way, that's okay. And if your journey is taking you somewhere else, then that's okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm not knocking on your door on Sunday morning asking you why you're not an atheist. Like, I know why, because you believe something I don't believe. And that's okay, you know but when it comes to our reality here of the nuts and bolts, the physics, the reality, the truth. Like, I don't compromise those things. Those things are hard and fast for me. That uh, you can call the aliens whatever you want to call them, but they are coming here and they are abducting people and they are doing things with us and they're putting us back or sometimes not putting us back. But they are interacting with our species. They are coming here in these types of craft. They are doing things which are beyond our current knowledge and level of physics. Those are facts. Those are facts. And you can say whatever you'd like to explain it or how you'd like to interpret that. I know that my interpretation is a literal one because it comes from my direct experience with them. But people who haven't had that direct experience, I can understand saying, well, I wonder if it's this or that or the other. And that's all right with me. You see, yeah, and this is leading into my next subject, and this is the final thing I'd like to talk about. Hold on, let me do some of these comments. You guys are being great. Thank you so much for being here and for listening to me. Thank you for your likes. I see the likes are going up. I appreciate that. Every time you drop a like, you're saying thank you, and I appreciate it. You know. Um, the lives we live with no memory from previous lives definitely has been mass uploads and information and everything else since 2017 or 2020. That now I do agree with you. There have been absolutely quantum increases in information on these topics. Um, I like to think that I'm a part of that, and that makes me very proud. You know, because this is hard. It's it's not easy being an abductee or an abduction survivor or an experiencer. If you go through my channel, if you're new here and you go back and you kind of watch some of my previous um, videos and some kind of just amateur interviews that I've done um, with friends, You'll hear my story and you'll understand why I drink sweet tea and bourbon every chance I get. You'll understand why I curse every other word. You'll understand. You'll go, that guy's sane. Look at him, right? Uh, it says, oh, yeah, it has been intense these past few years. You're absolutely right, Chris. And you guys, see, that's why you're here. You see it, you feel it. You know, you don't have to be hitting the head with a fucking brick before you get it. You know, you have that discernment, that subtlety, that nuance that I highly prize. That it's a sign of intelligence in people that they don't have to be hit with a fucking brick. And I love that. Um, I don't mind if you're an atheist. Thank you, Garrett. I don't mind if you're not. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't challenge me. It doesn't affect me. You know what I mean? Like if as long as you're believing what you want to believe in that regard, like when it comes to the afterlife or reincarnation or near death experience or whatever it is you want to believe, man, that's all good. I got nothing to say about that. You do you, boo. You do you. And let me do me and don't try to get in the way of that. You see? And the alien lord, finally somebody who actually has a brain. Just because religion and science doesn't really mix, in my opinion, doesn't mean you can't believe in the religion. Me personally, I'm Christian, yeah, and I'm fine with that, alien lord. I think that's great because I think it does have some helpful benefits for people. I'm just not one of them, that's all. And yeah, science and religion don't mix. They're kind of the opposite of each other, right? Because religion depends on no evidence and faith only, and science depends on evidence only and no faith, right? So they are kind of diametrically opposed in some ways. However, that doesn't mean that they both don't have value in certain contexts, because, like, how you live your life, you don't live your life by science, right? You live your life by your heart. And religion, I think, is supposed to be about your heart, the real religions, the ones that really talk about good things, and they all kind of have bad shit kind of sprinkled in them, but that's men, that's people, that's not like true religion. um no, I agree, you tell them, baby. um but I don't care what you are, you're all right with me, and I don't care if you disagree with me, you're allowed. Now, I know that I'm talking facts and I know that I'm saying the truth, but if you haven't experienced it, then I understand that you have doubts. Like, that's why I bring evidence, because I don't want faith. mm, I don't want faith on this topic. I want true believers. I don't even want believers. I want people who know. I don't, people say, yo, what do you believe? I don't have to believe. I know. But for people who haven't experienced it, you are kind of, you must believe, but don't believe for no reason. Don't believe just because I fucking told you so. I don't want brain dead people. I want people who have the ability to think, question, and say, well, what about this or what about that? And I try to provide the evidence or the answer everywhere I can to fill in those holes, those gaps in knowledge that people coming from the outside have. Oh, no, they're coming to get me. Okay, guys, that's it now. um, so this brings me to my last point. We're going to be talking about a guy who's very popular, and I'm going to call down the wrath of Professor Dave, Phony Stark, as I like to call him. Um, so he made a video, I don't know, a week ago or something, and it was about the Terrence Howard interview on Joe Rogan. A lot of people have been talking about it. Before I get into it, please, if you haven't dropped a like already, please consider doing so. If you'd like to support the channel, please make sure you click the link that I left at the top of the chat and just simply give me a small thank you, and it really helps. Um, so he made a video about the Terrence Howard interview, and I'm like, okay, like, I don't like the guy. I feel like he's very snarky and he's very arrogant and condescending. Um, but one of my subs said, he got a hold of me and said, and he's not here, IQTV, wherever you are, shout out to you, man. I think he's in Australia, so I think the times doesn't line up for him, because he always drops me something later, so I don't think he's able to see the lives. But he got a hold of me and he was like, "Hey, do you know this Professor Dave guy?" And I was like, "Yes, I know who he is." And if you don't know who Professor Dave Explains is, I call him Professor Dave Complains. He is a chemist. He's a chemistry major. Uh, and he has a channel where he has a real good time beating up on flat earthers and creationists and people like Terrence Howard. And I have to tell you, I watched the Terrence Howard interview prior to watching his video, and I'm worried about the guy. I don't he Nothing he said made any sense. Now, I do have some ideas about things that are contrary. I point out flaws in physics. That's kind of my thing. I can point at something and go, no, that's wrong. Here's why. And physicists go, "Eek," and they run, and which is because I'm right about it, and provably so. We have a lot of learning to do. We have a lot of growing to do in science, and that's okay. But to do that, we have to point out where we're wrong. We have to see our weaknesses and our failings. And we don't have sacred cows because I'm in the mood for some sacred cow tipping, my friend. Well, anyway, IQTV. He said, "Do you know this guy? Because he's over here just going off on people." And I was like, "Oh, he is." So I went over to the video. I watched the video, um, and I started off being worried about Terrence Howard, which I still am. And I don't say that in a condescending or making fun way. I don't make fun of people with struggles, man. Like that's fucked up to do that. I have compassion for people, you know, and I love people, broken people. It don't matter to me. Like your struggle makes you strong, you know? But Terrence Howard, I am worried about him. He presents a lot of signs of having problems, and I don't know what they are or anything, but the things he was saying don't line up with science. It was really a lot of pseudoscience. Um, but then I started listening to Dave, and I became more worried about him because this is a guy who bats way out of his league. Okay. He bats way out of his league. This is a guy, he beats up flat earthers and creationists and he thinks that's fun. And he gets a lot of clicks because people like to feel superior. They like to be like, yeah, look at that dummy, while they're driving a garbage truck or whatever. Like they're not changing the world. These people aren't going to be splitting the fucking atom anytime soon. But they get to watch this video of him putting down a flat earther and now they feel superior. And I guess it's like a drug, an addictive feeling because he gets a lot of clicks. But he's an expert in physics, and he's an expert in genetics, and he's an expert in he's an expert in everything, this guy. And I just don't think you get all that from a chemistry degree. And I heard him talking some kind of nonsense in there too that I felt like I wanted to correct, but I was like, you know, he's not hurting anybody until I started reading the comments. And by the way, everything I'm about to tell you, I have receipts. Okay. I don't just say shit. I like to have receipts, and buddy, do I have them. And it's because of my friend IQTV. I went over there and so I messaged him and I said, "Hey, you know, how you doing? You all right? You okay?" Because I know how I felt when Simon Dan gaslit the shit out of me and sent a bunch of people over who were denying science on his behalf. It made me very frustrated, made me mad. And I was kind of a jerk to some people. And I went back and apologized to everybody I could. Looked them up or sent them an email. And I even made a video later saying, I shouldn't have done that. And I've gotten over it since then. Now I'm not very hard on people. Now, if you go out of your way, now to you want to spar with me, you're going to get exactly what you ask for. But just simply disagreeing with me or taking a different tact or believing something different, it doesn't challenge me. It doesn't hurt me. It's okay. My ego is fine. Like, I don't need everyone to think I'm right. I just need everyone to click the like button. Just be a good hamster and hit the button. That's all I need. Um, but in all seriousness, so I approached him. I'm like, you okay? Because um, I was reading some of the comments and people were like, well, I think that, maybe he has a point about this or that. And he's like, oh, shut up, you whiny bitch. And I was like, what? What's 1 times 1, you dildo? And I'm like, whoa, whoa. Why are you talking to people this way? And it wasn't one message, guys. It was message after message after message. It was like 50 messages 50 comments that he had made to people where he was just being abusive and toxic and not receptive, not cordial. And I was like, yeah, all right, bro. And he was like, well, and I was like, you're hurling abuse at these poor people. Like, they're on your channel, they're watching your thing, they're making comments. Like, shut up. You're getting what you want, stop ruining it. He's like a guy who's like insulting a girl who's like, you're gonna get lucky if you don't say anything too stupid, and he just keeps saying stupid stuff. It's like, you're talking yourself out of this. You're doing a wonderful job. And what I realized is this is a guy whose ego has exceeded his abilities. Yeah. And he really does enjoy talking down to people. I do not. I enjoy talking to and with people. I don't enjoy talking down to people. Um, and he was extremely abusive. And I said, here, I'll show your message. I don't care if you say it. All of his messages is just him being absolutely relentless and an asshole. He's the biggest narcissist asshole ever. Here, I'll just read that out loud for you. How's that? You owe me $1. um, but yeah, uh, my guy Alien Lord here, he just said it. He said it right. He is a toxic, narcissistic asshole. This guy. And for the life of me, and I've always said this about people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Simon Dan, Professor Dave. Like, why are you so proud of yourself? What have you done? Give me one accomplishment. What have you done to move the needle just one iota in any direction? You haven't. You're a YouTube channel and a chemist. Like, okay, golf clap, good for you. Um, but you're not doing anything to change or improve science. You're a science defender, okay? But often this leads to just the dogmatic repeating of information. And this is what I've noticed that he does. He basically just researches it and he'll just clip stuff and regurgitate it. That's how you become a PhD or have a master's degree. Like, that's how you do it. Is don't No critical thinking, guys. You just read this and you say it. You read this and you say it. And it's indoctrination. Now, it's the only way we really understand how to educate ourselves is by learning from those who figured things out before us, right? Like, that's what we do. And then we put that in our brain and we program our hardware with this information, and then we recall it and regurgitate it. But this actually cuts out a lot of critical thinking that is necessary. Um, and he's batting way out of his league. This guy. So we've gone from science to dogma now. That how dare you actually challenge anything in science? Don't you dare challenge science. How do you think science evolved? Was we challenge everything. That's the point. That nothing is sacred, nothing is off the table. Okay? And even if you want to challenge that the world is flat, okay, challenge it. You're never going to be able to prove it because the actual physical science we have just it just proves that it's roundish. like me. So there are things that you can challenge, you just won't always successfully challenge them. And in fact, good science, you're going to have a hard time poking holes in that shit, right? And, but obviously, there are still gaps in our knowledge because there's so much we can't do. The more you know, the more you can do. And we can't do what we did 55 years ago going to the moon. Did you hear today they just scrubbed another launch? Scrubbed another launch, a leaky valve and this and that and da da da. Can't get it right. Can't get it right ever. 55 years, you know? And but what this guy's doing is really what science is now, which is the bully pulpit. This is it's we're going to bully you. We're going to humiliate you. We're going to be toxic to you. We're going to degrade you. If you dare challenge the narrative that has been brainwashed into me, well then you're in violation, bro. And we're going to make you pay for that, and we're going to do that by trying to frame you as stupid or ignorant or whatever it is. They want to gaslight you as a a cracked pot, when sometimes, you know, the fringe people are the ones who change science. It's not the mainline steppers like uh dipshit Dave. It's not that. Those guys are going to toe the line till the day they die because it's all they can do. They don't know how to think outside of those lines that have been drawn for them. And it's the fringe thinkers like me, the weirdos who see things differently and who, relentlessly strive to prove or disprove their theories using evidence and instrumentation wherever possible. And but people like me are put down. Like, remember, I was telling the story about Simon Dan tried to gaslight me, and he paid for that. That guy was arrogant because all he did was beat up on flat earthers and creationists. Does that sound familiar? All he did was beat up on flat earthers and creationists. And then when he ran into somebody who, I'm not the smartest person in the room anymore, bam, face plant immediately. Immediately. I took him to school. And he didn't seem to appreciate it very much. I didn't appreciate his gaslighting. I didn't appreciate his trying to gaslight me as a crazy person when really I'm not crazy. I just see the world differently based on the evidence. And when you bring that evidence forward, it should be treated with respect. You see, he missed a great opportunity, Simon Dan. He missed a great opportunity. He could have been a hero. He could have said, well, why don't you present your evidence? Why don't you just present your evidence to me and tell me what it is you're what you think is going on here? And I'll take a look at that, and then we'll figure out where it's wrong or it's right or what have you. No preconceived notion, no emotional investment, no ego, right? But now, talking about landing on the moon, Houston, the ego has landed with these guys, and they've just become a toxic pit of despair that actually seems to be popular. And I find that to be unfortunate. So anyway, I said, you're talking to these people all wrong, man. You're talking to me all wrong. It's the wrong tone, you know. And while I may not be popular, I'm sure a hell of a lot nicer. And I do tell the truth. And if I'm wrong, I say, oh, I'm wrong. Or if I mess something up, I'm like, oh, let me tell you about how this, should be corrected, whatever it is. And I really try to just take my ego out of it. And I'm human. I mean, I don't think I have a 100% success rate, but I try to, and it matters to me, and I do listen to other people, and ask any of my friends on here, they'll tell you, no, he listens, you know, I take other people's thoughts to, I take them in, I take them to heart because you can be right. Like, yeah, I got a genius IQ. I'm a life member of Mensa. I've been on TV. Yeah, you know what? I'm wrong a lot. I'm wrong a lot, you know? Um, and that's that's the pay dirt. And people don't understand. People like Professor Dave think that being right all the time is what makes you smart, or thinking you're right all the time. I don't think he's right all the time, or even half the time. But realizing that you don't know everything is the beginning of wisdom. And when you can't question things, I think, well, who was it? Richard Feynman, who was brilliant, mega brilliant, said, I'd rather have questions I can't answer than answers I can't question. Don't you tell me that I can't question you. Don't tell me I can't question science. Don't tell me, don't call me a fucking dildo because I said I disagree with this for this or that reason. Don't you put me down. How dare you? And so when I was talking to the guy, and I was very nice. I talked to him just like I'm talking to you, like you talk to a friend. And he was like, "Oh, you don't know what it's like, to be out here in the trenches." And I'm like, "Bro, you got 700,000 subscribers. I'm getting close to 1,000, and I worked my ass off to get there." Like it felt to me like a colonel who's like sitting in an office in a desk behind the lines, talking to some poor grunt who just came from the front about how bad the war is. Like, don't talk to me about trenches, bro. I've been in the trenches for 17 years, man. I've been out here fighting this battle, you know, and very condescending. And eventually, because I said you should change this channel to from Professor Dave Explains to Professor Dave Complains. And he was like, "Why? Because you're a whiny little bitch." And I was like, "Okay, you see what you just did there? You made a mistake now. See, I didn't call you anything, man. And if anybody here is acting like a toxic turd, well, it's yourself. Like, look at all your comments to people. Who raised you? Who raised you, man? Like, you got to know better than that, right?" And so I was like, I dare you to say one more insulting word to me. You take that back and you apologize, or I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell everybody about you. And I'm not just going to tell it, but I'm going to have the receipts. He deleted the entire conversation out of shame. Then, and this is your science guru, guys. This is your guy, and I saved the best for last. This shit, I was like, you ever do that thing where you're so mad you just sit and you cover your own mouth with your hands so you don't just like start just saying random curse words out loud? Somebody made the comment to him. They said, you're kind of closed minded. And it's people like you are the reason why we still don't know how the pyramids were built. Um, and I was like, oh, that's kind of got a point there. And you know what he said? He said, "Oh, just because they piled a bunch of rocks on one another, big deal. Don't be so fucking stupid." And again, I have this conversation. Screenshot. I got the receipt. Um, and I was like, "Hold on. What the fuck did you just say? That the Egyptians just piled a bunch of rocks on each other? No big deal. Don't be stupid. You're gonna diminish and degrade the greatest engineering marvel to this day ever made by human beings. That's what you're telling me." And I told him, I made my bones studying the coral castle and megalithic structures. I know what it takes to do something like this, and it's impossible by any standard. The people who say they're so brilliant at physics can't build the pyramids. They can't build UFOs. They can't control, manipulate, create, or defy gravity. Don't tell me what you know. Show me what you know. And what he showed me is what a horse's ass he is. That you're going to talk like that about the pyramids? You're not a scientist. You're a narcissist. And there's a huge difference between the two, you know? And I was so uh disappointed in him. Um, really disappointed that he is so dismissive of actual science, like the pyramids. It is an engineering marvel. Do you know what the tallest building built after the pyramids was? It was the Eiffel Tower. That's how long of a time span that it took human beings to even just build something that high without it falling down. And then when you look at the marvel of engineering that it took to build it so accurately and for seemingly no reason, you look at it and you say, why would you go to all this trouble? All of the stones, how they perfectly fit together, and shafts made along, carved out of solid stone. It's unbelievable that they were able to accomplish this with basically no technology. And to hear him denigrate an entire culture, the Egyptians, to say that what they did was nothing, that anybody could do it, anybody could figure it out. Well, then why has nobody been able to do it? You see, because all of his knowledge is written down on a piece of paper. It's not practical application. You see, and this is where these guys miss the boat. All the people who told me that they know how the Coral Castle was built have yet to raise a single fucking stone out of the ground. I just noticed that all the people with the prosaic explanations, the people who say that, oh, well, if you use leverage and this and that, okay, well, fine. All right. Here's a sledgehammer, and here's a big old chisel, and no power tools, because they didn't use power tools. What I want you to do is I want you to go over there and I want you to carve a 20-ton stone block, and I want you to figure out how to get that fucking thing out of the ground, move it along the ground, set it into place with frightening accuracy. Don't be off. Don't be wrong. Because if you're wrong, then the whole thing is going to be wrong, and you can't be wrong. You can't make any mistakes. Here you go. None of them can do it. I can't do it. You can't do it. Nobody can do it. We don't know how yet they were able to accomplish something so magnificent, so miraculous, and so wondrous as something like the Great Pyramid of Giza. And here we have this bitter, troll, misanthropic ne'er do well who's miserable in life because he knows he's gone as far as he's ever going to go. This guy isn't going to be splitting the atom anytime soon. And he wants to sit here and talk to me about theoretical physics when you're a fucking chemist. I've studied theoretical physics for over 20 years. I've studied astronomy for 15 years. I've studied these subjects inside and out. And the results speak for themselves. I've written number one books in the physics of gravity and astronomy and cosmology and UFOs. I've been on the History Channel. I've done countless interviews. People actually, you know, care about my opinion on things, my take on it, because I've done my homework. And people like Simon Dan, people like Professor Dave, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson will try to convince you that they know so much about science, but they can do nothing with it, you know? And theoretical physics can prove to you on a piece of paper that an elephant can hang from a cliff with its tail tied to a fucking daisy, but that isn't really the truth, is it? You could say theoretically, but that doesn't make it so. It's the practical application of these forces that will determine our wisdom or our lack of it as it applies to uh, the physical sciences. And we don't put people down. Like, I call him a dipshit because he called me a name first. I didn't say nothing to him. I was being a friend. I was being calm because I knew, like, go in nice, like, be nice, be a friend. Be a friend. Maybe that's what it is. Like, maybe he feels beat up on. Maybe he feels singled out. Maybe he feels um, disabused for his efforts. And believe me, I know what that feels like. I know. When people were coming over to my channel and telling me that I made up annual celestial motion when it is boilerplate astronomy just because a douchebag told them so, I was upset, man. I was really angry. I was angry that they're so fucking dumb that they couldn't just type those words into their phone and go, "Oh shit, oh that is a thing." They listened to somebody, didn't check anything, no critical thinking skills, no research done whatsoever, done by the supposed scientist, the physicist he brought in to help him, or any of his audience dared to just, can you just type in the words annual celestial motion into Google? Oh shit, that is a thing. Ugh, I have work to do. These people don't even understand the science they're defending. All they know is you need to shut up because you're a moron. You know, that's science now? No. No, I refuse to accept that. So, here's my plan on that. And if you've come in and haven't dropped a like yet, please wipe your feet on the welcome mat, drop me a like ski in the box there, and help keep these videos showing up in people's feeds and stuff. It really, really, really helps, and I appreciate it. Um, but my plan, devious as it is I plan on doing an entire video just on how toxic this fucking guy is. And I have all the receipts, and I'm going to be showing all of the things that he said, the things that he said to me when I was trying to just reach out and be a friend. Um, and then I'm going to post what I said back. And you guys, I think, are going to have a good time reading those things because I do have a way with words when I want to. But we cannot participate in this toxic form of scientific debate. It's not debate, it is monkey porn. Okay. I wash my hands of that because these people are supposed to be the scientists. These are the guys that I'm supposed to be listening to that are above me, who deny the actual just legitimate science that I was using for my assertions. Or if I say, excuse me, you don't, please don't talk to people. Oh, you're the tone police. No, no. I'm just saying you're not being a human being right now. You're gaslighting people. You're insulting people. You're disillusioning people. You're hurting your own message, right? I mean, Christians, and I hope, please don't be mad at me. I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, but what if Jesus was like, get on your knees, you fucking sinners? Like, is that a message? Is that a message? He said, suffer the little children to come to me. He was at 12 years old on the steps debating philosophy with the rabbis and winning. You see, he was a problem. He was inconvenient, but he wasn't a jerk. He wasn't a jerk because if you're a jerk, people don't want to hear your message, even if you're right. It doesn't matter. And when I watched the video of him and of Dave and Terrence Howard, I felt like I was watching the battle of who the fuck cares, because this guy is like nice and polite and soft spoken, but he's talking nonsense. This guy is over here, kind of keeping it honest, but geez, what a dick. And it's like, I don't want to hear either of you. I don't want to listen to either one of you guys talk about anything scientific ever again. And I just determined, I was just like, wow, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You want a place to be? Come be here. You want to talk about science? Let's talk about it. If you want to challenge what I'm saying, well, bring receipts, bring evidence, bring data, or get the fuck out of my dojo because I don't have time for your daydreams. We're doing science here, and science does rely on those things. Now, you can say, I have an idea about this or an idea about that. And that's fine, because that's where discovery begins, is in the imagination. We have to see it. Right? We have to see it in our mind's eye and say, oh, what if this or what if that? And then now we go on the hunt to look to see if that's true. We dig up all the evidence we can and put around it and say, is any of this sticking to it? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. I've learned that myself. But when it does, it's very validating and it's very crucial to our growth as a species. Just like people, I'm tired of people denying the existence of UFOs. Well, most people, they don't, they don't need to know. Oh, how nice for you Who said you don't need to know? Everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to know, whether you want to know or not. It's not important to me anymore because I didn't want to know and I didn't get a choice today. I know far too much and I didn't get a choice. And believe it or not, I didn't crumble into a pile of dust just because I know. And neither will you. We can do this together. But to do it together, we have to be accepting of each other. And I'm not trying to be all peace and love and everything. I have my confrontational um moments where I will absolutely tell someone, right the fuck off, man. Like, I will. Like, if you try to like purposely be offensive to me when I'm not, oh, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, because I will level your shit, but I'll do it with the facts and the truth. I won't just call someone a dildo. Like, who calls someone a dildo anyway? Dildos do that. But I think he's kind of telling on himself, because calling somebody a dildo is kind of sus. It's like, what are you imagining me as right now? Like, stop it. Um, Here, let's get some more comments in, and I think that maybe we'll close her out for the night. Let's see. Uh, if I act like an asshole, people would change. That's exactly what he said. Doesn't seem to be working though, does it? No. Oh, people are changing. I mean, they're going from liking you to disliking you. I mean, that's a change, technically. I guess scientifically you're correct, but just not in the way that he'd like to be. Why change sides instead of coming to a better understanding together? Exactly. It sounds like Professor Davis to science, like Chef Gordon is to cooking. Yeah, only Chef Gordon can actually cook. This guy is trying to make dishes he doesn't even know the recipe for. He's a chemist. Don't talk to me about physics. I'm going to destroy you. Don't tell me what you know about uh, how our species came about. You don't fucking know. Don't talk to me about astronomy. You don't know. Don't talk to me about megalithic structures. You don't know. He's full of shit and arrogant while he's being full of shit. And that's unacceptable, man, because he's doing the same thing that he says he's against. And by the way, just as an aside, he said, well, I see this as my duty to come out against pseudoscience and all this stuff, as though Terrence Howard is the new face of science, right? And the more attention that you give that person, really, the more of an audience you provide. So if you're trying to get this guy's information to not be heard, shut the fuck up. Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm wrong though. It's all for show. Yeah, it is. It's all for show. It's all for content. It's all for clicks. It's all for controversy. It's all to feed people's need to feel superior to others, to put them down, to make fun of them. When I don't think we should be making fun of Terrence Howard. I think we should be concerned about him, you know? And I mean that very sincerely. We should be concerned about him because the things he was saying, they don't make sense. They don't line up with science. Now, I challenge science all the time, but I do it with science, though. You know what I mean? That's why none of these astrophysicists or physicists want anything to do with me, because I know their science just like they do, and I see where it falls short. And so they don't want to mess with me. You know, I'm not that flat earther. I'm not that purse snatcher. You're going to beat up, Batman. I'm Bane. I'm going to break your back. You fuck with me, right? But like, scientifically speaking, Dave or Mr. Beat, whichever Izzy S, is stuck in his own belief or programming with no ability to listen to others to learn together. The rules is what kept us stuck, if that makes sense. Well, it is. Now, there's nothing wrong with rules. We need rules, right? But yeah, anybody ever watch The Golden Child? It's an older movie, Eddie Murphy, and I love the movie because he learns an important lesson. He has to carry this glass of water over this chasm, and there's only these poles to step on the whole way. And he's like, what about the rules? And the old guru said, sometimes you have to know when to break the rules.
And that's a very important part of life, isn't it? Sometimes we need to know when to break the rules, when it's okay to challenge the rules. When the rules no longer make sense, then fuck the rules, is what I say. Uh, we're definitely the ones in the last generation for sure. Well, I don't know about that, but it could be. Cheers to critical thinkers and open minded people. That's right. You can be open minded and still be a critical thinker. That's one of the things that I do that I feel like I possess is I have the ability to see things objectively because I don't brainwashing and indoctrination. It doesn't work on me. You know, I go with what makes sense. I go with what's right. I go with what's proven. Now, sometimes those things conflict with each other and you have to find where that friction is, and find how to make that meet. And that's where science becomes so valuable to us. Um, those who aren't afraid to challenge the set rules, like mermaids and Bigfoot, doesn't exist. It's just a scary story. Yeah, well, it could be, but people, say that aliens are a scary story when I lived it. I have the evidence. I have the proof. I have the experiences. I have the memories. I have the stories that I can tell you. So, uh, one person's mermaid is another person's fact. You know. Um, let's see. Worst part, if you piss him off enough in the comment, he just blocks you. So he is also a pussy. Yeah, that's what he did to me. He deleted my comments and blocked me, so I can't say anything on there. It's okay because I at first already got all my receipts. Click, 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 click. I just snapshotted my little heart out, and I didn't have anything left to say to him. I said what was right. I reached out to him as a friend, and he bit me. So now, well, I'm going to cut him in half with the facts, with his own. He's going to be hoisted by his own petard, as they used to say. Um, and so uh, he did it to himself. And when I show you the receipts, you're going to be like, oh, no, he did not stop, And I think that he's got like 3 million subscribers. Like 3 million people think this guy is worth listening to. Do you understand? I have less than 1,000. Let's get it up to 1,000 this week. That's my goal, is try to get 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 people who go, oh, thank you. I'm so glad to be home, because I'd be glad to receive you. But he has 3 million subscribers and he treats everyone like dog shit. And he doesn't deserve his subscribers. He doesn't deserve his views. There are much better sources to get things from. Like, for instance, the Terrence Howard interview. Sabine Hassenfelder did an amazing, clarifying job of dismantling Terrence Howard's disinformation, misinformation, and pseudoscience, and she did it in about 10 minutes. Where Dave, the narcissist, he wants to go on and on and on for like an hour 30, hour 40. Like, stop. We get it. You don't have to address every little teeny tiny little thing. Like, it's like playing basketball with a kid with Down syndrome. Like, yeah, he's going to double dribble. Just let it go, dude. Like, let's just play the game. You know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of just let people be themselves a little bit and just overlook certain things when it's not really helpful to bring them up, is the point I'm trying to make. Was it Adam and Eve, or did we come from primates? Well, um, both. You understand? It says he created Adam from the ground. Yeah. What was in the ground? Bones, DNA. And they took this DNA and they tweaked it. This is what one of the Greys told me. He's like, we took you guys and we tweaked you and we made you humans. And then several 100,000 years later, they merged our DNA with theirs. And if you want to know more about this, I do have videos about this. It's in my book. I tell you why. Or created to be part of the galactic universe one day, or replaced by the Greys, who is dying out. Oh, look at Anthony Capart with a little bit of knowledge. Somebody cracked an egg of knowledge on that guy, because that is the thing. They are dying out. And that's what they told me, is because they reached so far up the evolutionary ladder that they're now evolving out of existence. Their brains are evolving on kind of a runaway train, and so their bodies are diminishing as their brain it continues to evolve, and their bodies are failing them, and they've reached what I guess you could call evolutionary blowback, or an evolutionary cul-de-sac, where they're not able to progenerate their race any longer, and they're having to go to extreme lengths to keep their race perpetuated. And one of their plans involves us, and they want to cross with us. They cross their highly evolved genes with our much more lower evolved genes. They keep their big brains, but now they have big tough bodies, and that's the plan. That is the plan, and the plan is already in motion, and I've seen it for myself. um, let's see, one more thing. If you give valid criticism, or if you have a different opinion about something, he'll act the same. Oh, absolutely. That's what I did. I was just like, hey, man, are you sure you want to fucking treat people like that? He's like, what do you care? No, 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 no. I was like, okay, buddy. That's what I literally said. Okay, buddy. You think you look strong? You don't. You look weak. You look like a weak, thin skinned, what's the phrase? Oh, yeah. Whiny little bitch, I guess is what would be the apt phrase. And thank him when next time you see him for teaching me that. Um, like one person said they don't like the Beatles, and Dave was like, "You're wrong, asshole." You know what that's like? It's like saying hello to someone and they go, "No." Like, what do you mean no? I just said hello to you. Like what? Um, it's good to be here. Oh, Chris, it's great to have you. Um, I'm so sorry for coughing in your ear. Dave sounds like he's running his own cult, but people will eventually feel dumb and wake up one day. Hopefully, I think they will. I think people will eventually see through this, but it takes an example, right? It takes give them an alternative. And that's what I want to give you. I want to give you an alternative. I want to give you a real home. I'm not going to call you an asshole because you don't believe what I believe. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to be abusive. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to talk down to you. I like ask anybody who knows me. Like, I like everybody, man. I try to like everybody until you just make it impossible to like or respect you. And then I don't. And then when I don't, now you're in fucking trouble. Like, that's all. And I think that's good to have those boundaries. But you should always let people in. Give them a chance. Let them be heard. People deserve and we have a need to have our voices heard. Regardless of what we're saying, we still want to be heard by other people. But some people have to be agreed with every step down the line, that everything you say is just, oh my God, brilliant. And I don't think that's healthy. It is narcissism. It is a sick, egotistical um, crutch to need people to agree with you all the time. Disagreement is healthy. Debate is healthy. It's okay to exchange ideas. Just take your ego out of the equation. There, Professor Dave. Take your ego out of it. Don't tell me that the pyramids, they just piled up a bunch of rocks, no big deal. You're an asshole for saying that. And when I confronted him, I wrote him this long message. I didn't say one bad thing. I just went down the science with him, and he deleted the entire conversation. I was like, you want to take that back, sir? Would you like to revise your bullshit statement? Do you regret saying that? And the next thing I know, the entire conversation was gone. Uh, Personally, I don't believe the Adam and Eve thing, but I haven't gone to church for a while, so I can't judge yet. Um, Fair enough. Um, these things come from someplace, these stories. They are history. They are often misinterpreted history, and they were often misstated history, because you have to understand these people were coming from a place where there was no science yet. Okay. We had to put things in superstitious terms for us to understand, remember, and be able to pass them on in a way that people could remember. And that's okay. Um, Guys, thank you for your likes. I really appreciate you for that. Um, about the grace taking over, if we're all connected, are we really being replaced? Or are we the grace in a way who made the humans to start over again and not die out or lose our physical experience? Well, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. Uh, we're gonna do a really good job of destroying ourselves. They're not coming to take us out. We're doing it ourselves. Look how hateful people are. Look how combative. Look how egotistical. Look how ready we are to always pounce on another person. You know, even if they're kind, even if they're nice, even if they're reaching out, it isn't good enough. Some people are just that way. And that's the human condition, psychologically resistant, egotistically resistant to change. It's a battle that we're going to have to evolve out of if we're going to save ourselves. I don't like our chances. I'm sorry to say it. Final thing I'll say this stream for now. Well, yeah, thanks, Alien Lord. Thanks for, letting me talk a little bit. No, I'm kidding. Um, he doesn't use YouTube for spreading knowledge. He uses it as a job to gain money and support his family. His one job is YouTube, and that's pathetic. Okay, first of all, I resemble that remark, sir. Okay. Now, I do write books and things, but they don't really, I'm not rich or anything from it. YouTube is kind of my life. I try to teach people and I try to share my knowledge and I try to mentor people who are having struggles. Some people are abduction survivors and they're afraid to talk or they're not comfortable telling their sister or their husband or whatever it is, and they come here because it's safe. They know I know already. I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to think you're crazy. That you can tell me that if you ask questions about it, I might be able to give you an answer or two that might help. No, I know. I know. I'm not offended. I'm not offended, but I was just joking with you about that. Um, but my cause is sincere and his is that he generates content to get clicks. I understand the distinction that you were making. I was just giving you a bit of a hard time. um and so I think we're gonna wrap it up. I've been going for almost an hour and 40 minutes. I did not expect that, but everybody's participating so much and so well and so nicely. Thank you for showing everyone that this is how you talk. You can talk real, you can talk plain, you can be yourself, you can be an awesome person and still walk away and go, "Oh, I'm not fully convinced of that yet. Nah, I like the guy, I just don't know. I'm going to give it a little while. I'm going to investigate further. I'm going to challenge myself that I can be wrong." Those kind of things are very cool because this is how we change stuff, guys. That you come in and we exchange ideas. You can tell me what you believe or what you think, and I'll go, "Oh, well, I don't know, because I kind of feel this way, and this is why." And then somebody might go, "Oh, shit, I never thought about that before. That's a good point. Well, what about this?" And then I might go, "Oh, well, actually, now you made a good point." Yeah. And this is how we grow. This is how we grow. And we're not going to do it by calling people assholes or putting them down. I mean, I'll call Dave an asshole because he is an asshole. And he started calling the names first. Call me a whiny bitch. I bet. All I'm going to say is, I bet he wouldn't say that to my face. And if he did, he would not say it again because I don't tolerate that kind of stuff, man. And it's just funny how like brave he is from his little ratty ass apartment, typing into his computer. A big brave guy. Oh, you got a lot of big mouth. When if he saw me in person, I highly doubt that he would speak to me that way. Um, Great answers from RL always. Oh, thanks, Chris. You're always so great. You're very supportive. You are one of my really core soldiers in the Haunted Sky Army, and I don't know what I'd do without you. Um, you're a great man. I can't wait for more from you. Have a good day from the Alien Lord himself. Thank you, my Lord. I appreciate you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence and for your really cool participation. I like that you talk real too. I think that's a great thing. And you know what? Look, nobody's mad at anybody. Nobody called anybody a name. Nobody was toxic. Everybody was just really chill, right? And this is proof that it doesn't have to be the way they do it. They do it that way because their ego gets challenged. They do it that way so they don't feel like they wasted their life studying something and then they find out it's wrong and it crushes them. Like we got to be able to look at ourselves not so seriously, you know. Oh good, I'm glad everybody had fun. You know what, I'm going to give you guys, I'm giving you some hearts. Look at that, I'm going to give you a couple. How about that? I'll give you a couple of them. And I would just like to close by saying, guys, thanks for proving me right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for giving me your time and your attention. That means the world. And the more that we do this, I think the more other people are going to want to come over here. Um, I think that we're gonna change things. I feel very close to this tipping point that people keep telling me I'm at. They're like, if you just don't quit, if you just keep being you, if you just keep telling the truth, if you just keep calling things out, that people are going to flock to you. And I hope that's true because how can somebody like him, as toxic and as mean and misanthropic and a ne'er do well, be so successful at this? But I'm not. I don't know. Kind of hurts sometimes. But I feel like the time's coming. And it's going to be you guys who do it. When you go out and say my name to somebody, I bet that there are people who dread hearing my name in the comments that they're like, this guy, he won't go away. And it makes me happy. It makes me smile inside. Um, and also, the very last thing, please consider supporting this channel. Support these live streams. Support me. Please go to buy me a coffee / the haunted or haunted sky uh, at the top of the chat. In fact, I'll put it in now. Um, so that way you don't get the wrong address. I think that's right. There we go. And if you click that link, it'll take you to my donation page. You can drop a coin in my cup. Let me know that you appreciate me. Maybe give me a nice message of encouragement along with it. You get to say something, like when you make a donation, you get to say something. If you have a suggestion for a future subject for a live stream or a video, you can drop that in there. If you just want to maybe give me a message of support, or you want to just call me a whiny bitch. Hey, fine, it's your dime. Spend it how you want to. Um, but in all seriousness, you guys are the best. I know that we don't have a huge following yet, like people like Professor Dave or Simon Dan, but the truth's never been the most popular thing, has it? And that's kind of how you know when you're doing it right, is when you have a very small sliver of the audience, you probably have the cream of the crop. And that's what I consider you guys. Now, I have a penchant for spicy noodles. I love them and I am craving them. So I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to go make myself some spicy noodles. While I'm doing that, hop on over to the Discord. Would you do that? Hop on over to the Discord, join the conversation, see what you're missing because I share a lot over there. This is my daily check in with folks. I don't really do it on the community page so much anymore. It just doesn't, I think it turns people off. I think they turn off notifications because they feel inundated. Um, Remember, if you get a lot of whiny people, he made a video of you. Hey, but you know what? When they come over here, I'm not going to be like that to them. I'm going to be nice and say you're probably misjudging me. Maybe if you listen to what I have to say and be rational, or if not, then you can, seek life elsewhere. Either way, but I'm not gonna shower abuse on these people. He can send his toxic army over here. Thanks, I could use the clicks. you know, but that isn't what this was for. Like this was for just because, dude, somebody needs to call this guy out. Somebody that's intelligent and there's somebody that has a good heart and is intelligent And dude, I can run circles around him in science. Like he's not, he's light work for me. I take on the Neil deGrasse Tyson's, the Michio Kaku's. I'm in the big leagues, baby. I've never been threatened by Professor Dave Complains. So but his people, they are welcome to come over here. And when they come over here, you know what I suspect? They might be like, "Oh, I kind of like it over here, actually. This is kind of nice. You know, do you want to eat at the big chain or would you like to come to my small bistro? Because I try to serve you bistro information at fast food prices. Remember that. All right, guys, I'm going to get off of here. Thank you so much for the likes, for the comments. I've had an amazing time talking to you tonight. And I am starving. So I'm going to go get something to eat. While I'm doing that, hop over to the Discord. If you don't know, ask somebody who was in the chat. Chris is a good person. She's a moderator over there. And Chris don't take no mess, just so you know. Um, but you can ask Chris if you'd like for maybe the link to the Discord or I wish Gypsy was here. She's not here because she's a moderator too. Um, Drop a dime in my cup. Let me know how you feel about things. Um, yeah, I tell you what. How about I look it up now? How about I look it up now? Okay, I'll do. Let me see if I can do that. Because I think I just have it on my phone. Shoot. I think I just have it on my phone. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to get on my phone when I get off of here. I'll copy the link. I'll put it in the community section. I'll do it right now as soon as we get off of here. Okay. When I do, click the link, go on over to the Discord and make yourselves at home. Introduce yourself to everyone. I'm going to make a bowl of spicy noodles and I'm going to sit down, grab my phone, and I'm going to eat dinner and talk to you guys about the show. Okay. How's that? Does that sound like fun? I think it sounds like fun. All right. So I hope I see you there. And I appreciate every single thing that you do to make this channel a stronger place, to make me a better content creator, and that you do to make yourself a more informed person. I'm so proud, guys. I'm so proud. What a great night. I'll see you next time.